E12 and E13. Let's start with E12 on page 35. E12 on page 35. So, again, we're going to be doing a problem where we're using the accounting equation. So we're looking at stockholders' equity in the accounting equation. The total assets and liabilities at the beginning and end of the year for Luther Company are listed below. So if we start with our accounting equation, assets equal liability plus stockholders' equity. If our beginning assets were what? What are my beginning assets?
This is E12. I can't find it.
E12, page 35. What are the assets worth?
360.
Thank you. 360. How about my liabilities?
137,500.
137,500. Okay. So can we figure out what the stockholders' equity is? What's the stockholders' equity? Guys, if you're not writing this down, you should be writing it down in your worksheets. Please do. 222,500. What's my ending numbers? 550,000 for my assets. 301,000 for my liabilities. So what is my stockholders' equity? Good. Okay, so I'm going to put the change down here for now because I didn't leave enough room up in here. So what's my change here? My assets went from 360 to 550. So my change is an increase of 190,000. My liabilities went from 137.5 to 301, so I had a change of 163,500. And if my stockholders' equity went up from 222.5 to 249, that's a change of 26,500. Okay, so we can see, just making an observation here, that if our assets went up by 190,000, we can see that that was majority, the way that they purchased that assets, majority of those asset purchases were supported by what? By loans, by debt, okay? So it's just like things you should be starting to think about analytically, okay? Analytically, you should be saying, they financed most of those assets by borrowing money to finance them, okay? As opposed to investments by their owners, by equity investments. Okay, so let's look at the first part of this problem. It says here, determine Luther's net income or loss for the year under each of the following alternatives. So each one of these is its own little situation. Okay, what are we ultimately looking for in each one of these problems? We're ultimately looking to solve for net income or net loss. So this is basically like 4 problems similar to SE7. Okay, I'm going to do the first one, then I'm going to stop and pause, and you guys are going to do the other 3 without me. Okay, so let's look at the first one. The first one is the stockholders' equity made no investments in the business. The stockholders made no investments in the business and no dividends were paid during the year. For scenario 1, what formula are we looking to use here in all of these?
Beginning stockholders' equity plus net profit or minus net loss. Plus, common stock.
Contributed capital, oops, and then minus dividends equals the ending stockholders' equity. Okay? So, in this case, we know beginning stockholders' equity was $222,500. We're solving in all of these for net income or loss. In this one, it says we made no investments, so contributed capital is 0. And we made no dividends. That's minus 0. Our ending stockholders' equity is $249,000. So we know that the whole net profit or loss is what caused this change. So what's the answer in this one? It's going to be $26,500. God bless you. Okay, so in this case, net profit equals 26, God bless you, 26,500. Okay, now I'm going to pause this and you guys are going to do the other ones. Number 2 is the stockholders made no investments in the business, but dividends of $55,000 were paid during the year. So, again, what am I? $222,500 plus we're still solving for net profit.
And then 0. And then you have 55,000.
$55,000 in dividends. Good.
And then you would subtract.
Okay, this is $249,000. That's our ending. So we would X, and then we would get 167,500 equals the 249, and X equals
81,500.
okay 81,500. So George, you made an observation when you were doing this. What was your observation here?
That if you have more higher dividends and the numbers, like the beginning stockholders equity and the ending stockholders equity are the same, you have a higher net income because you need the net income to take the dividends out of it to give to the stockholders.
Right. Okay. So does everybody understand? See, in these two equations here, you can see that in this particular equation, this company did not give any dividends. This company gave $55,000 in dividends. In order for them to get to the same ending stockholders' equity for both companies, these guys had to have generated more profits so that they can give some of the profits back to their stockholders. Okay? So understand that relationship. That's what I want you to understand. I want you to understand that relationship. Okay? So businesses are basically taking money out of their retention of profits to be able to give that to their stockholders in the form of dividends. Okie doke? Okay, number 3. Let's see. Bobby, let's have you do number 3. How are we starting it?
$222,500 for BSE.
Good.
Plus or minus X. Plus $32,500 for capital.
Okay, they said they invested capital of $32,500. Good.
And then minus 0 for dividends.
Okay, they didn't give any dividends.
And then equals $249,000 for
Equals $249,000.
Yeah, and the stockholders.
Okay, so X plus
$255,000.
255,000. That's what that comes to. 255,000.
Yeah, I think so. Want to do it again?
No, I'm just doing the math wrong. Sorry. 255,000.
249,000.
Okay.
And then it's net loss, so it's a net loss of 6,000.
Okay. This is a net loss situation. Okay. So why is this a net loss situation? So in this case, we have a net loss of $6,000. Why is this a net loss?
The dividends are higher than the...
Not dividends. We didn't give any dividends in this scenario. So, again, we're dealing with still the same change in our stockholders' equity of $26,500. Okay? If in this particular case, this $26,500 came from owners investing more in that business, contributed capital in the form of $32,500. So if the owners invested $32,500 in this business, and the change in stockholders' equity was only $26,500, they had to have generated a loss. They had to have generated a loss because their stockholders' equity only increased by $26,000, and the owners invested more than $26,000. So they generated a loss. So some of what the owners invested was used up by the loss. Okay? So that's what happened here. They generated a loss. Very good. All right. Well, not good, but. Okay. Let's see who's next. Kira. Let's have you do the last one. The stockholders invested $25,000 in the business, and dividends of $58,000 were paid during the year.
Okay, so the beginning is 22, yeah, you know. And then,
No, say the number. Say it.
and then
I don't know.
the contributing capital.
$222,500.
The contributing capital is $25,000. And dividends were $58,000.
And our ending was
$249,000.
$249,000. So if we put everything on the same side, X plus X, it's not actually a plus in this case, is it? I mean, it is, but 222,500 plus 25,000 minus 58,000.
We get 59,500.
Okay, I got X plus 189.5
Yeah,
equals 249,000. So X equals 59,500. So in this one, the net profit was 59,500. Okay?
Yeah.
Any questions on this?